Hi everybody, my name is James and I'm with Anything Auto. I just wanted to drop a few things that I've learned by buying projects. Here's a 383 that I'm currently working on putting in a truck. And over there behind the engine hoist and the cover is a Ford 302 that I'll be swapping into this project that I'll be showing you. I just wanted to take some time and break down 5 tips that can help you guys maybe buy your first project or your second project, just get a better buy, know what's going on. And so we'll get started. Here are 3 recommendations that I think everybody should take when they go to look at a project car. Bring a flashlight of some kind. This is an OBD2 reader. If it's an older vehicle, you're gonna be out of luck on that. But always scan the vehicle. I bought a Subaru, if you know what that is. And the check engine light bulb was actually pulled out, so it had a check engine light on for cats. I just didn't know it. But if you're gonna go look at an older vehicle, you could take somebody that knows a thing or two about these old carbureted motors. Maybe it's your uncle. You might have to pay him in Bud Light or Miller Lite, but that would be a great resource. And then if the post says that all it needs is a battery or jump, take something to jump it. This is a battery for my motorcycle. You get the picture. You can go buy cheap batteries at Walmart. I would recommend that. Slap it in, see if it cranks. And if it has a rod knock, you're welcome. I just saved you probably $2K or more when it comes to having to replace the motor. So that's it. All right, tip number 1. So here's my BMW. I've bought this one. I bought it sight unseen, something new, but I have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna be making some content with it and it's a fun vehicle. So I'm happy with it. Tip number 1, always make sure that you're checking out these vehicles when daylight is out and there's no snow covering the vehicle. If there was snow on this vehicle, I would not be able to see a damage like this, so I couldn't correctly factor that into my price. And you can see there's still snow on my windshield here. This windshield could be shattered. I could sell it to someone and say it needs a tow home so that they would be stuck with a broken windshield. And if they didn't scrape it off, they wouldn't even know. Another thing is don't check it out in the rain because you can't really see what the paint quality is like. All right, tip number 2 here. Check your fluids. It seems very basic, but check your fluids. I have my ATF back there, and this is a project car. As you can see, it's still the BMW. There's a Ford 302 shoved in here. I have my oil right there and my antifreeze. The owner claims that the reason they switched this motor in is because the old BMW motor blew the head gasket. And so this makes sense, but this motor has a lot of blow-by. I'll show you that in a second. There's the coolant overflow. There's the windshield washing fluid. See if they have documented maintenance on the vehicle. And there's a bunch of videos that you can look at what fluids are supposed to look like. It will tell you a lot about the history of the vehicle. So check the fluids on the project car. Even if it's been sitting, even if you plan on changing it, just check the fluids. If there's flaky metallic stuff in the oil, that engine's probably done. All right, tip number 3, we need to start the vehicle if that's possible. If there isn't an engine or something along those lines, clearly it's not gonna happen. I brought my extra battery out. That battery is from 2018, so not the most reliable. So I'm gonna see if I can get this fired up for all of you to show you. I went to put the battery in, I dropped the bolt, so I had to twist my arm down into there. Yeah. What I like to do is I like to try to start the vehicle. And make sure that the engine's cold before you try to start it. A lot of people, if they have an engine like this, right, an old carbureted motor, if you let it warm up, it'll start a lot quicker. So you try to start the vehicle when you're there, get a feel for it. You're like, okay, it needs some work. It doesn't crank right on like the ad said. Right? Oh, okay, there it is, finally. Something's up with it, now I know. And then you want to put it in drive, reverse, put it through all the gears. I like to take them on a test drive. Make sure the brakes feel good before you leave. Ask them, is it safe to drive? Check the tires before you leave. Check for dry rot. And this car is a prime example of that. So right here, you can see all that dry rot. And what that causes is it causes air leaks within the tire. And this happens. So you can see right there, that's all the dry rot down there. These tires are extremely old. They're from 2010. So if a vehicle's been sitting for that long, be careful because the tires could just blow apart. If the tires are in good shape, make sure you take it on the interstate and make sure that you're going to run this vehicle for at least 20 to 30 minutes. If it has a blown head gasket, if it overheats for whatever reason, make sure that you've ran the vehicle, you can take it home, and you're aware of the situation. Okay, now as the engine's running, we're gonna check for blow-by. You can do so by pulling the dipstick out or pulling the oil fill off, but this motor is pretty easy. It has blow-by. Moral of the story, this motor, not the best situation. Now you're gonna take your flashlight too, while it's on, you're gonna check for leaks. You can come over here, you can see that there's leaks going on. And always, always, always check underneath the vehicle. On this one, wow, that's a big oil leak. If I didn't look under it, I would never have known. And now you need to inspect and see what type of fluid that is. This one is motor oil, which makes sense because there's so much blow-by in the motor. Check to make sure that your fans are coming on and that it doesn't overheat. When the vehicle's running, you can come back here and see if it's blowing out any smoke of any kind. This is just really cold right now, but if it's blowing out any type of smoke that it shouldn't be, you can search on Google, what does blue smoke, black smoke, gray smoke out of a car tailpipe, gas or diesel mean? And that's gonna help you. Step 4 is a simple one. Ask questions, but don't assume they're telling the truth. Ask questions and then verify. Ask, do you have paperwork? Can you show me? And just put it out there. Just say, yeah, I believe that your second cousin's uncle did a great job on his motor rebuild and that he put $8K into it. Do you have receipts for that? Ask questions, verify everything, and you'll be fine. Okay, for number 5, notice that we're not out in the garage. Notice we're not outside. Number 5, I recommend taking 24 hours to process the project. Okay, we're gonna call step 5 real talk. You need to talk with your wife, you need to talk with your bank, you need to talk with your wallet, you need to talk with your scheduling to see if you can realistically accept this project and to get it done. So the car is gonna be $2,500, the title and sales tax, I have to pay 6% on that, so it's $300. Tires that it needs, $800. I know that I can get this less, but I'm bidding high. The engine, I bought one for $1,500. It's real nice though. Fluids, I'm gonna add 150. Exhaust is 200. That puts us at 5,450. Now, I wanna do this because I wanna do this. It doesn't make sense. If you're down for that too, if you're doing that for a project that you're just at a point in life where you just wanna do something because you wanna do it, I support it. I 100% behind you. Go for it. But a lot of people think these project cars are gonna make them rich. Go do a fix and flip. Go buy a Honda that needs a head gasket. Buy the $50 part, slap it on. Parts that cost little, but the labor is high, that is a flip that you should definitely look at doing. Because realistically, the value of this is $0. And that's cool. All right, here's the bonus tip for you. More value to the video. When it comes to the paperwork, make sure that this VIN matches the vehicle, especially if it's older or if it's project, it gets kind of sketch. So make sure that everything makes sense. And I always buy vehicles from people whose name is on the title. I will not buy a vehicle anymore from somebody else's name. I've heard horror stories from it. I bought a Grom once and the guy didn't transfer the title in his name. It was just a headache for a $2,000 Grom. It's trash. And then always check to make sure that it's not a rebuilt or salvage title. But if it is, factor that into the price. You can negotiate and go from there. Well, guys, it's the end. That's my 5 tips. Hope these help. Hope you make a great buy and hope you have fun with it.